Hey, it's 7 grains of salt, invisible tattoo, or vaccine card on your skin. Yep, we're looking at GAVI. If you haven't heard of that, well, they're the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, founded in 2000. Of course, Bill and Melinda Gates and their foundation, UNICEF, the WHO, and the World Bank, because they're committed to increasing access to immunization in poor countries. GAVI was founded, of course, by the Gates Foundation and also IFPMA, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the others that we just mentioned. And this is their design, and it's from their page. I'll add the links below so you can read more information on it and what they strive for. Well, wouldn't you know, they donated $1.56 billion to the Alliance in a 4-year span. That's right, $1.56 billion. Well, Seth Berkley is the CEO of GAVI since 2011. Well, he's also been a former president of IAVI, the AIDS Vaccine Initiative. He's worked for the Rockefellers. He's also a member of CFR. Very interesting. I'm going to have to maybe look into that gentleman one day. He was a leader, this gentleman here, I'm not going to mispronounce his name, was a leader of the Christian Democratic Party in Norway. He is also in the Nordic Council, and that's why I'm saying that even if someone says they are a Christian, you really need to look into who they are connected to and linked with, because that's where the lines get quite shady on really who they are. Two companies that this GAVI purchases all their vaccines from is GSK and Pfizer. Well, if you didn't know who are members of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they are, of course, the lovely couple themselves and Warren Buffett. But most of you already know that. And of course, they do mention his father, Mr. Gates II, and Mark Zussman. But more on GAVI. This summer, on the 3rd and 4th of June, they want to replenish GAVI, Vaccine Alliance, providing an opportunity for the EU and the international community to realign with the ambitious Agenda 2030. That's right, reaching those left furthest behind. Boy, I think they mean all of us. There's all their strategies, and you can... Of course, I'll add all the links. But who has he recently and publicly aligned himself with? Well, it's the one well-known Madonna and Marina Abramovich. The one and only. They're both one and onlys because she is a spirit cooker, and Madonna, well, she's practically there too. And she's saying not everyone is coming to the future. We're not going to get into those. You can find many YouTubers who have covered both of them explaining who they are if you are not aware of who they are. And I'm wondering if even these pastors who agree and wear tattoos themselves will align and be aligned with what is coming. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to go into that any further because I have many videos showing exactly who these gentlemen there are. Let's get into shaking my head and what a gentleman on there had to say.
What you need to know is that when they give you a vaccination, they also plan to give you a chip. Quantum dot tattoos for COVID-19 identification digital certificates. How is this going to work? Now, the invisible tattoo accompanying the vaccine is a pattern made up of minuscule quantum dots, little semiconducting crystals that reflect light, that glow under infrared light. The pattern and vaccine gets delivered into the skin using high-tech dissolvable microneedles made of a mixture of polymers and sugars. The quantum dots are copper-based and are fluorescent. They are embedded inside the biocompatible micron-scale capsules. After the microneedles dissolve under the skin, they leave the encapsulated quantum dots whose patterns can be read to identify the vaccine that was administered. So far, The system is mostly a proof concept, but the researchers have already tried it on rats and found that the patterns were still detectable 9 months after injection. Where is all this coming from? It's coming from Bill Gates. Let me explain. The one person putting a lot of money into global vaccination is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They call this Global Vaccination Program GAVI. They also put money into research to create quantum tattoos, and they also put money into funds that help ID 2020 to create a global identification program which will use microchips. Those microchips will be used or implanted into the body at the same time as the vaccination, and also you'll get a digital certificate which will be in the form of a tattoo. Bill Gates is behind all three of those ideas. Why do they want to put microchipping into people at the same time that they vaccinate them? Because it's very difficult to get access to the human body. One of the best times to get access to human body is when you go for your jabs, your baby jabs, your inoculations, your vaccines. At the same time that you go for them, they'll slip in the microchip. And the other thing that is quite interesting is that within the liquid of the vaccine, there are other substances that we don't yet know much about. What's going into those vaccines at the moment is nanoparticles or nanobodies, nanochips. And those nanochips, nanoparticles are going to have an effect on us as well. His plan is to get people that have already had COVID-19 and hopefully built up a natural resistance to, getting them back to work by giving them a digital certificate. That digital certificate is going to be the tattoo. A paper certificate can be easily copied, therefore it's very difficult for the police to know whether or not the person is actually holding a real certificate, unless of course they put those people onto a large database. However, even if they don't give the people the tattoo and they do put people onto the database, they're still taking away people's privacy and freedoms. How are they going to see these digital tattoos? Is going to be very easy. It's only going to be visible using a special smartphone camera application and filter. Therefore, police will have no problem seeing it, as well as educational establishments, schools, universities, and your job. Therefore, anyone that doesn't have one of these tattoos, which might be demanded later on when a vaccine comes out, may not be able to work or work in establishments which deal with other people. The tattoo will also be used for other vaccines. It's not only going to be for COVID-19, it will be generally for all vaccines. It's going to have a history. Your arm will have a vaccine history. So the argument is, where there is no technology and vaccine cards get lost quite easily, doctors can see the history of the patient and what vaccines they need, and then dole out those vaccines accordingly. By the time they have the COVID-19 vaccination, they're hoping that governments have put into law mandatory vaccination, like Denmark. Denmark is probably a year away from getting the vaccine, yet already it's told its citizens that they will have to have it. And Gates seems to know about this COVID-19 virus. He said eventually we'll have some digital certificates to show who has recovered or been tested recently, or when we have a vaccine, who has received it. So this digital tattooing is obviously being maneuvered to help COVID-19 people show that they have had it so they can get back to work. I think they want it on the skin because more people are going to be happy having a tattoo than having a microchip inserted into them with information about their vaccine history. So at the start, I think they're going to introduce the tattoo, and then later on, they're going to try and push the chip harder and harder.
And that video is packed full of great information. But also this morning I noticed that Celeste Solum was there. Let's take a quick look at that.
The DARPA hydrogel sensor is, they've been working on that for 10 years. And basically it's nanoparticles, and it's in a gelatin form, and they put it into your skin they inject it, so it's injected into you. It's because of the nanoparticles, what it does once it gets inside of you is it starts to assemble. and it starts to grow. And so it's growing wherever it's injected, and then it fuses to your own tissue. It fuses to your ligaments, your bones, your cells. And so in the past, microchips, let's say 2 years down the road, you decided you didn't want the microchip, you could easily take it out. Somebody dug it out and away they went.
Right.
But with this, it becomes one with you, and it grows inside of you. And the worst part, the most alarming part of the DARPA hydrogel situation or sensor is that you become one with artificial intelligence. You become one with the Internet of Things. You become your own computer or device interface. So you are one with the hive, the system, whatever you want to say. So it will be sold that every man, woman, and child will have this sensor, because it will alert public health officials that you're sick before you even know you're sick. Before you have that headache, before you have that sore throat, the public health officials will know right away that you're sick. But it will also be surveillancing, are you eating right? Are you exercising right? What supplements are you taking? Is your water, what chemicals are in your water? Are you taking your medications correctly? Are you not taking your medications? And the list goes on for total surveillance. And I don't know about you, but I have a lot of problems with my computer, and I don't want to even go and become one with my computer, because it would never work.
The hive mind. Yes, many have spoken about that. If you don't know anything about it, in brief, it just means that you're one with technology, is just basically how she put it as well. Well, so much is happening, and so much did happen even over the weekend. I'm trying to catch you all up, and all I can say is stay safe, stay close to the Lord, and God bless you all. Till next time.